not good for world peace.
Thank you very much, Raymond Vickery, for sharing that insight throughout our news. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that bilateral trade between the United States and Russia has grown by 20% since the Trump administration took office. Speaking in Alaska after his summit with President Donald Trump, Putin said the following.
Bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that the U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible.
The comments also come amid U.S. penalties on India for continuing to buy Russian oil, with tariffs doubled to 50% starting August 27th. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Raymond Vickery. He's a former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce. Thank you, Raymond, for staying with us. Now, for some people, this might be a surprise that U.S., while imposing heavy tariffs on India as buying Russian oil, punishment as buying Russian oil. But then now we see that U.S., since Trump took office, President Putin said that they have 20%, they have increased 20%. Was this a surprise for many over there as well?
Well, President Putin, just like President Trump, is very adept at trying to create a reality which is not actual. The trade between the United States and Russia is minuscule. It's about $6-7 billion as compared to U.S.-India trade of about 200 billion or so if you count in services. So it's very small, and it is unfortunate in regard to some crucial rare earth minerals that we got reliant on Russia. And it may be that there was a transaction which would show some increase from a very small base. But the reality is the United States has cut back on trade and has tried to impose sanctions. Now, having that been said, the sanctions on India are a different situation in the sense that 25% of it has to do with these reciprocal tariffs, which really have nothing to do with Russia. In regard to the Russian oil trade, that additional 25% tariff, which has been talked about, it has not been imposed. Yes. And the United States has taken a very inconsistent position. First of all, along with European allies saying, well, you could buy Russian oil if you didn't buy it above a $60 a barrel cap. That was exceeded, is exceeded, and there is oil trade. What needs to happen is two great democracies, the U.S. and India, need to work together in terms of how to end the Ukrainian war. Will Yes. oil be a part of that? It could be a part of it. But the idea that you're just going to take a sledgehammer to India with an additional 25% on top of a 25% reciprocal, therefore having a 50% tariff and cutting off trade essentially is a non-starter and has done more damage to the U.S.-India relationship in 24 hours than we were able to correct in 30 years of work.
Yes. Thank you so much, Raymond Vickery, for joining us and sharing your insight. Always great